Hey guys, Kilo Fathom here. Do you want to make videos like this? Well, boy, do I have the tutorial for you, okay? It's really not that hard, but it can be a bit tedious at times. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy this tutorial. So, when starting off with the cinematic A, we're going to come over to Community, and we're going to go down to Replays. This is where your previous War Thunder matches will be saved. After every match, your game will be saved into a video footage, which you can re-enter into and watch over. Now, I have certain videos renamed because I feel like they were good for cinematics and or cool moments that I could recapture. So in this one here, Hit, I remember I dodged about, I want to say 6 enemy missiles within this match. So I thought to myself that could make a really cool little cinematic part, or at least a small clip where I could throw that into a video. So we're going to view replay and let that load up. So once in the match, we're going to come to a screen that looks somewhat like this. We're waiting for this to kind of get around 42 seconds, if not, or everyone else to load in. Now that we're loaded in, we're going to hit pause on that. Now is where we get into keybinds. So if you take a look here into controls, you're going to come over to spectator camera. Here is where I have all my different keybinds for using these kind of cinematics. You can customize this however you see fit. These are just my personal settings. So take a second to go through and customize your own little key set for these cinematics. Now, of course, we're going to continue anyways. The standard stuff, such as, it does that sometimes, sorry. The standard stuff going into free chase camera. This is where I get most of my cinematic footage in. So, of course, D is to move to the right, A to left, W forward, and S back. I also have E to go up and Q to go down. And you will use your mouse to move your camera around. So, those are the basic keybinds. Going into a little bit more advanced, I have my zoom in set to my right click, which will zoom in my camera, which is quite fast, and then left click to zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out. My other keybinds I will use for these kind of videos are going to be my camera tilt, which can tilt the camera from here or here. Now, you may be wondering, how do I get this kind of footage, even though all of these little player names are on the screen? Not to worry. If you just simply hit Z and Alt, all of that will go away, and you can get yourself a nice view without any of the cluster on screen. It's a bit tedious to try and get some of these cinematics sometimes just with how these replays works. You may capture a cool moment, but when trying to capture it in your replay, it doesn't always come out the way you want it to. That's okay. It takes me usually about 2 or 3 times of the same cinematic in order to capture this kind of replay. But now going into some of the biggest, that was weird. Okay, so now going into some of the biggest mistakes I see with a lot of these footage is they don't utilize any kind of camera zoom. So we're going to start off by playing this video, and you'll see what I mean by difference. So we hit play, and it doesn't look all that bad. However, it's very plain. There's not a lot of emphasis in the video. There's not really a good capturing point. However, if I just add a little bit of zoom, maybe a bit more, we get something that looks a lot better than just outwards and trying to get close. Don't get me wrong, there are times and places where you can use no zoom. However, when trying to get decent footage that can look more action-packed or put a focus more on a subject, you want to add your zoom in there. So there are two different kinds of shots that we can take. Some of them are just going to be your B-roll shots, or you're just trying to get nice slow footage of your plane or whatever subject you are filming, whether that be a tank, a helo, aircraft, whatnot. So by utilizing zoom, we can put a lot, even more detail into some of these aircraft than just no zoom and trying to fill it out. Now, this is where it gets a little bit kind of confusing. We're going to keep switching between different views. So right now we are in free chase camera, which as it sounds is just going to chase the aircraft that you are locked onto, which in this case is me. We can always switch over to other friendly aircraft or even enemy aircraft when they load in. However, now utilizing different areas, we also have one of my other favorites, which is the flyby view. So by clicking 4 and hitting Alt plus Z, we get something that looks as it sounds. The aircraft flies by. It's pretty nice, and I would say it's better for capturing those cool, either breaking sound barrier or launching a missile, something that gets like some action-packed, or even then a good turn, and I would demonstrate that later. But for now, we are going to stick with our free chase camera. So at this point, it's kind of just fooling around with it, moving your camera around and zooming in, trying to maybe add a little bit of rotation into it. Something that gives it some kind of flair. We can also try zooming in on the pilots a bit, get a bit more pilot footage in there. So I believe now I'm going into a dive, which I feel like is going to be a good plot for the flyby view. If I can find my aircraft, there we go. So flyby view, and we, boom. Now we lost our aircraft, but that's okay. We're just going to pause, and we are going to require. So hit back to flyby view, puts our aircraft back in the middle of the frame. Go back to chase, and we are back in. A lot of times when making these kind of cinematics, for me, it's also luck-based. It's luck. You're lucky to put your camera in the right place at the right time. And I say that since you can't replay all these moments just by yourself. So here, we are firing some AGM missiles. I don't remember how many I fired, but we're going to hope it's enough. So we're going to go back into flyby view, and we are going to position our camera slightly off. And that's what I mean by luck. Those are some decent shots. Now we are deploying flares. So we're going to go back into another flyby view. Position our camera over to the right so the jet will fly into the direction that the camera is. Heading down to the ground, so I'm going to switch over to chase camera, and we're going to get nice and close with this, okay? There is also another mode which I would recommend if you want to stick with your camera, which is going to be free attach camera. This mode is going to put your camera attached with the aircraft, meaning that when your aircraft turns, the camera will turn with it. Such as an example, we're going to add a little bit of zoom to there. We are nice and low to the deck. As you see, when an aircraft turns, the camera turns with it. This is a nice mode to be able to capture things going on around the aircraft. So if I want to capture some of the missiles about to go off or whatnot, I'm going to put it over to the side, give it a little bit of zoom, maybe a little bit too much, boom, and add a little bit of camera shake. So I'm just shaking my mouse around just slightly, add a bit of intensity to this scene. So I don't think anything really happens at this point in time. So we're going to zoom back out and we are going to go back into flyby view. Just with how fast we're moving on the ground, I feel like flyby view is going to give us the best. Boom. Not really much action going on there, but that's okay. We can use that for just filler within our own music video. So back into free chase, we're going to follow this aircraft up, zoom out, and back in on it. Turn. And this is what I mean too. This is another thing. When going over these kind of rough terrains, you find your camera going unable to go underneath the map. So it goes up, it jolts, it puts your plane out of focus. So that's just one of the pains of trying to film these videos, but you find your ways to work around it. Or maybe you don't. So I believe here soon I launch a missile. So we want to stay with said missile when I launch it. We are going to go into a free attached, go up, and now missiles will always launch from the left side, which is going to be this side here. So I believe I launched an AIM 120. So we are going to zoom in on this, and we're kind of just going to wait. Really, if I'm waiting for like a specific shot, I'm just going to put the camera in a position where I know it's going to get the optimal view up, and this is what I mean too. Slow to the deck. I kind of forget what I'm doing at this point, so I'm going to go back into player view. Okay. Going back out. I actually feel like this is going to be a better view for flyby. We're going to take this camera up. Just kind of let it do its thing. Back into attached. I totally lost my plane. I don't know where I am. Hold up. There we go. Okay. Where the technical difficulties? My apologies. Okay, so now we are back with our plane. We're going to go into chase. Keep almost losing it. I do not find these dark maps very pleasing to get some of these footage, but that is okay, simply because we are only looking for a very specific part, and that is when the missiles land in front. So here too, we notice that there is a aircraft going down. It's on flames, and it provides some kind of illuminance to light up our scene and add some kind of dramatic scene or sense into it. So we're going to put our focus onto this Su-34. Bring the camera up just a little bit and back into chase. Boom. Up, and he disappeared. That's tragic, but it is what it is. So here's what I'm talking about. Here, I managed to dodge one of this F-4S's missiles, and shortly after, another plane will come up and absolutely dump everything he has onto me. So we're going to put this into attached. Our plane is right here. So we're going to get a nice view right around here. And now, notice this guy has launched a shit ton of missiles at me. So these explosions are going to be landing in front of me. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put this into chase camera. Going to go ahead of my aircraft here. We're gonna go a little bit forward, and now there's quite a few explosions. Now I'm gonna put this into free. Free camera means our camera is gonna stay right where it is, and everything is just gonna come by us. So we're a good distance away. I'm gonna leave my camera right here so I can get some of this explosion as I exit through it. And that'll look like boom. Right there. That was the shot I was looking for. So with that, I really don't have any more use for this gameplay, so we're just going to quit replay and exit out. Alright, so now with that done, we go into our editor. There are plenty of different editors to use, however, I like to keep things cheap. So I use CapCut. I find it is a very good editor, especially for beginners. I'm not quite as advanced as other people may be, so I find it easy to use and get a hold of. Maybe in the future, I'll start using something like DaVinci Resolve or whatnot. But that's besides the point. So you have your footage, and don't mind me, I've also had some pre-recorded footage beforehand. And here's the footage used to make the video. But I have footage from other games that I'm also going to be incorporating into these kind of videos. So we are going to open up first. No, pause. We're going to start off with our audio, because understanding our audio and what kind of video we are going to be making helps determine the mood and the shots that we are going to get. So we're going to use something really simple. I have a few TikTok audios down here somewhere. I'll load those up in a second here. Okay, so we have our audio. It is 36 seconds long. These are just for quick shorts, but of course, if you want, you can find different types of audio. This one is just here for showing you how an easy way to edit these. So we're going to take a listen to this real fast. So with that, we have our audio. Now we import our footage. So part of our footage is here with the F15. We're just going to drag that in. So we're listening to the beginning here, and it's a slow build up into it before the drop hits. So we are going to find an area where it's a slow part of the song, which I feel like the very beginning of this clip will be perfect. So, and right there, right before the beat hits, we're going to just scroll through and find a different shot for us to take. Let's see. This is also what I mean too. There's plenty of different shots, but some of them just don't fit into the criteria that we want to make the cinematic. Ooh, this is a good shot here. So, gonna take that, put that in, and we're gonna add another beat right there. Probably gonna do it right when these pilots turn. And now, as you can tell, it kind of fades away. The music quickly fades away, so I'm going to make that fade to black, or dip to black. And right before that beat, we're going to go into that flyby view. So, did a little bit too much, but that's okay. Boom. Boom. I think there's one more beat to hit here. And right there, that's where the beat hits. So we're going to add our little bit more action-packed parts into this video, which AGM's firing. So right here. Right before the beat hits. And it's kind of rinse and repeat. You're just going to looking for the beats. You want to match the music and your cinematic to these beats. Ooh, okay, we're gonna keep that there. And do remember too that this part is just beginning. This is the rough draft. As we go into the cinematic more and more, we're going to get a better feel for it and understand what kind of fine details we need to make into it. So here we have our plane flying low against the deck. I want that turn in there. So add that there. Another beat. Let's see if we get another turn in here somewhere. Nope, but we do get a good flyby. I'm gonna cut that down actually right here. Okay, cut that down. Now here's where I kind of want those AGMs to hit my face almost. So it's right around here. We're gonna go find it here. Boom. Okay, there's one explosion. Now we're gonna add the rest in front of it. Right there. Ooh, that works out perfectly. Those explosions line up to the beat. And then let's get this final shot of us flying out. Perfect. So that's just using the clips that we got from there. It looks like. So you can tell it looked rough, and as we go through and refine these things, it's going to look a lot better. I will stay through and record the rest of this process. I'll just speed things up a little bit and show you the final product. Okay, after a bit of editing, it's still not to the fullest completion. However, I don't believe I'm going to be spending my full time on this, but this is what you would get. And that would be your War Thunder cinematic. Now with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this tutorial. I hope you found something that you can learn from and hopefully learn to make better cinematics if you're interested in that kind of thing. If you want a more in-detail guide about certain kinds of footage or the editor I use and whatnot, feel free to leave a comment and I will try and get back to you shortly. If not, I can also make another video about these kinds of things. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kilo Fathom, and I don't know how to end this video, so good night.